Hi, Camilita Nuttall here. Thank you so much, Sharon Lecter, for that amazing introduction. Today, I want to talk to your audience about being persistent. Persistence for me has been the cornerstone of my life and my journey. It has been the reason why today I run 3 successful businesses when I started off very, very poor. You know, today I run a global coffee business. I also run a successful real estate business and a motivational speaker. And I speak to audiences, right across the world, sharing my story, sharing my journey, and just letting people know what they need to do to become who they want to become. I remember my journey growing back in the Caribbean, growing up in Trinidad and Tobago. Financially, things were really tough. We didn't have money. At 5 years of age, I remember saying to my mother, "Mommy, why is it that this person's got money and that one's got money? What's wrong with us? Why we are not like them?" And my mother would say, this one is very educated, or she would say this one, has got their own business. And I used to sit and wonder, why didn't we have our own business? Why didn't we have the education like other people? And I made a decision, ladies and gentlemen, at 5 years of age, that I was going to be who I am today. And I remember going to school and growing up in the Caribbean, growing up in the country. We had a lot of limitations. We had a lot of disadvantages compared to other people that lived in the city. But for me, I knew who I wanted to become, and I made a decision to persist, to keep going no matter what happened. So I want to take you through my journey in the Caribbean and also my life here in the UK, and how I have used persistence to become who I'm called to be today. Now, I remember at about 9 years of age, working in the coffee fields with my mother. Yeah, life was really tough. Life was hard. We were happy, but we didn't know anything else. But I made a decision around 13 or 14 that come what may, I'm going to give it my all in school, because that is what at that point, school meant a lot to me. And that's the one way in which I knew I can come out of the situation where we were. However, I want to share with you that around 13, my father said to my mother, "I have no more money to buy school books. I'm sorry, but you will not finish secondary education." Now, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who've got children, I want to encourage you to do whatever it takes to help your child go through school. And I say this to you because I'm sharing this because of my mother, what she had to do for me. I'm the last in 11 children. And so perhaps money ran out when it got to me. But my mother was determined, because she knew I did extremely well in primary school. I wanted to learn, and she knew that. So she did whatever she could to get me through secondary school. I want you to picture this, ladies and gentlemen, at the age of 13, when my father said, "We have no more money, you cannot finish secondary school," my mother said, "We will find a way." And my sister at the time said to my mother, "One of the things in which you can do is come on the public dump, and you can hustle bottles that way, and at least you can get enough money to buy books for Camilita to go to school." Ladies and gentlemen, now for those of you who got children, if you said to your children, "You need to come with me on the public dump to hustle bottles to go to school," what would they say to you? But I was determined. I want you to picture this. You going into a public dump, going through all the bottles, all the rubbish, stuff that you would throw away, and having to dig through all of that to get glass bottles to sell in order for you to go to school. I know some of you would think, well, I probably wouldn't want to do something like that. But my mother was determined, and I was determined with her, that despite what, I am going to persist and I'm going to keep going. I remember for 2 months, us going through all this rubbish, and in the back of my mind, the reasoning, why, my big why. Why did I want to do this? Why did I make a decision to do this instead of just stay at home or perhaps do something else? Because I knew what I wanted to become, and I know that if there wasn't any other way, we had to find a way. At the end of that, I did very well in school. Started working with children in my local community. Children who they themselves financially were struggling. And I wanted to help them. I wanted to give back to them. So I started doing work with those children as well. Because I believe, ladies and gentlemen, it is one way of you helping your children is by giving them the best education that you can give. The best, I say, that you can give. Despite what's going on in your life, focus on giving them the best education that you can give them. And, you know, while doing that community work with those children, I was recognized by the MP of the local area and the member of parliament for, you know, other areas because of what we were doing and the success we were having with those children. And I remember going to the MP and saying to her, look, I really want a job. Can you help me? And she gave me a letter to see the mayor at the time. And I thought, okay, well, at least, you know, I can see him. I can talk to him and find out, you know, what he can do to help me. Because at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, at that point, I wanted to get into law school. Now, if you lived in the Caribbean, for those of you who know someone from the Caribbean, I wanted to get into law school because the goal was to come to England to study law. But again, I didn't have any money. Things were really, really tough financially. So anyways, went to see this mayor, sat with him. And while I sat with him, this gentleman came into his office. And the gentleman said, you know, he just introduced himself. And I said to him who I was. But the mayor came out of the office and saw me talking to this gentleman. And the mayor said, Camilita, I think you should talk to him. I think he may be somebody that can help you. Ladies and gentlemen, this gentleman at the time was the CEO of a company called TSTT, one of the best paid companies in the country. I had my resume with me. I gave it to him and he said, okay, someone will call you. Well, I tell you, I didn't wait. I didn't wait. Literally the same evening he got back to the office, I called him and I said, Mr. So-and-so, can't even remember his name now. I need this job. Is it possible you can let me know when I can come in for an interview or just whatever? And this gentleman said, you know, don't worry. Somebody you gave it to me just earlier on today. Somebody will call you. And I thought, okay, I'll wait. But ladies and gentlemen, I believed so much. I called that office every single day for 2 months. I was so persistent that I wasn't going to give up because I knew that would have been my ticket to go into law school. And in the end, somebody did call. I did get the job. I did very well on the job. But I just want to share something else with you. I want to share with you one of the things I did on that job and that really set me up for life, as it were, for where I am today. And that is give more value than you get paid for. Once you do, people will recognize you globally as a result of that. And so that's what I did. I gave more value on that job. But again, my heart, my dream, my passion was to become an entrepreneur. And my dream was to study law. So at this point, I had this job and I started, you know, learning a lot more about, you know, the field that I was going into. And at the time, I started law school in Trinidad. Things were really tough, but I did it. It was tremendous. I loved law. I loved, you know, empowering other people. But my dream, my drive, my determination was to come to England to study. I knew no one in England. I didn't have a friend or family that I knew of in England. All I knew that I wanted to come to England to study because it was my path. It was part of my journey. So I went back to the same gentleman who gave me the job and I said, I want to go to England. I don't know anybody in England. Do you know anybody in England? And at the time he said, look, I think you need to go back and see the mayor. He may know someone because personally I don't know anybody myself. I went back to see the mayor. The mayor then, at that point, made an appointment for me to see the leader of opposition because he knew him and he knew he might know someone else in England. So I went to see the leader of opposition, Mr. Patrick Manning at the time. Mr. Manning said, Camilita, the best person I think you should talk with is my lawyer. He lived in England. I thought, wow, I've arrived. He lived in England. He must know someone in England. So I called him up. As I went, I met him, I sat with him. Who do you know in England? He said, I knew 2 ladies. You can, you know, ask them if you can come and stay with them to study. And I made the decision that I was going to find a way. I emailed, I called, and one of them said, yes, you can come. And I thought, wow, this was amazing because from nothing to going to England to study. But ladies and gentlemen, I had to persist all through my life to get to that point to even come to England to study. But again, the amount of money that I needed to come to England, I didn't have that money. So a friend of mine said, I think you should perhaps go back to that same gentleman, the guy who gave you the job. You know, he knows he's got money. And also, he probably will know a lot of people that can help you, you know, get there. So I went back to see him again. And I said to him, Mr., couldn't even remember his name up to now, I need some money to go to England because I need to study. And he said, well, why are you asking me? And I said, because God told me to ask you because you got money. He was completely bowled over. He couldn't say no because he couldn't say that God didn't tell me. And he said, okay, come along to the office and I'll give you some money. And that, ladies and gentlemen, that gentleman gave me £1,000 to go to England. And he never looked back. I never saw him again. But you know, this is what he said: when you go to England, go and help someone else. Well, I thought, yeah, I'm going to England now. I've arrived. I'm going to study law. So I'm on my journey from 5 years old. I'm on my journey towards becoming who I want to become. So I enrolled in law school. Again, I was working part-time in law school and, working part-time, and in law school part-time. Life was really tough because it was a new country. Didn't know anybody here in England. Life was hard. But I knew what I wanted to become. There were days I lived on £40, about $50 or so a month, just to eat and to go to school. And there were many days I had to have cornflakes for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But I knew where I wanted to go, and I knew who I wanted to become, and so I had to persist, ladies and gentlemen. The one turning point in my life when I came to England, which has set me up to where I am today, it is because of the industry of network marketing. You know, while I was in law school, I met this lady, came on my job. I was working part-time, and she would tell all of us about this amazing industry of network marketing and how I could become successful and I could make so much money and I can travel the world. And I thought, this is exactly what I want. She said, come along to a meeting. You can meet some people and make a decision if this is something you want to do. And I said to her, fine, I'll come. But she came to pick me up to take me to that meeting, and I changed my mind. I said, I'm not going. And I want to encourage someone today. There is something you know that you've got to do, but you are putting it off or you don't want to do it. And that one thing is the thing that is going to bring your freedom into your life. Eventually, I said, okay, fine, I'll go with you. And I went with this lady to this network marketing event. And I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, my life changed that one night. Because for the first time, I saw people where I wanted to be. You know, all before all my journey, going through my life from 5 years of age to that point, I knew of people that were successful, that was doing what I wanted to do. But when I went to that meeting, I saw people who were at that point a success. And I wanted to be like them. So I asked the question, what do I need to do to become a success as they are or they were at that point? And my mentor, the lady who introduced me to that event, said to me, all you've got to do is just believe in yourself and do the work. And ladies and gentlemen, I tell you today, I look back at my journey. I look back at that very first night of going to that networking event and really transform my life, really transform my mindset. Because I think I needed to work on me. More than anything else, I needed to work on me. Some of you listening to this, you need to work on you. You need to work on your mindset and your skill set. I needed to work on me. Why? Because think about that journey. Growing up in the Caribbean, not having enough money, not always in a place of lack. You tend to get yourself in that place where your belief system is not where it should be or where it could be. And I had to work on my mind a lot to become who I am today. In that business, in that network marketing business, I worked hard. We traveled the world. I even met my husband in that network marketing business as well. But it was, for me, a real learning, developing process in that business. And over my life, I have used persistence to be where I am today in my life. But I want to talk to you a little bit about my life in England, my life here, what I've done with my life and some of the things that I've been through. You know, I loved seeing people doing properties up, and I loved seeing people fixing houses. And you know, some of you watch that on the telly and you think, I want to do that. That could be me. Well, I loved that. I loved seeing that, but I didn't know what it took to become a property investor. So this is what I did. I did my due diligence, went to a shop, found a book on property investing, and I thought, okay, I'm going to read through this book. I read the book and I realized I could become a property investor tomorrow. I don't need to wait till I have all the skills to do it. And ladies and gentlemen, I read that book cover to cover. I called my financial advisor. I said, this is what I want. Show me how I can do it. And I just started buying property after property after property after property. I look back at it now and I look back at my life and I think, wow, from 5 years of age in the Caribbean, poor and broke, to being a property investor. And I thought, wow, this it was my journey going through. But ladies and gentlemen, I want to share with you that you need to be persistent. You cannot give up when things go wrong. Yeah, I've had some bad tenants. Yes, I've had times when I wondered what I was doing, but I kept going. And all through my journey through the network marketing industry and all through my journey as a property investor, a lot of people will talk to me about personal development and about how I encouraged them, how I empowered and inspired them. But I was procrastinating. I procrastinated because that belief system wasn't there fully. And I had to develop that belief system over the years. And books like Think and Grow Rich have really transformed my mind, especially my mindset about who I am and what I can become. And during that whole journey, my mind would always go back to me at 5 years of age, the decisions I made at that point, what I wanted to become, where I wanted to be in life, and what I had to go through. But I've been through some stuff even here in England. I've had lightning come through my house one day. I almost died. You know, I visited a cancer treatment hospital over in Mexico, and I saw firsthand people with cancer, people from their teens to late 80s. And I looked at their life and I looked at their journey. And I thought, what is the one thing that I was missing in my life? What is the one thing that I can change in my life to help other people? And that at that point, I made a decision, a new decision, ladies and gentlemen, to keep going, to persist no matter what happens. When you have lightning come through your house and came through next to your bed, fire in your room, that changes your life in a major way. And so for me at that point, when that lightning came through my life, came through my house, I thought, Camilita, what is it you need to be doing with your life? Some of you, I tell you something, you probably need some stuff to happen. Not in a bad way. Just to give you a lift, just to get you a chance to believe in yourself even more. But I kept going. And, you know, I've spoken to audiences right across the world. I've spoken to over 10,000 people in Dallas, Texas. I've spoken to people in over 10 countries across the world. But I didn't believe that I could develop and change people's lives like I'm doing now. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to encourage you to persist, to keep going. No matter what's going on in your past, no matter what's going on in your life right now, no matter what's happening through your journey, you've got to keep going if you want to win. My mentor always says, if it is to be, it's up to me. I say to you, if whatever you desire is to be, it's up to you. You got to get it done. But I want to finish with just a few tips that you can do to be persistent, to come from wherever you are right now to where you want to be. You know, I offer coaching and training sessions and seminars right across the world with people, showing them how to go from where they are now and the journey that they need to go through to be where they want to be. Giving them clear, defined goals, giving them clear, defined steps, what they can achieve within the time that they've got and how to do it as well. But I want to leave you with a couple of tips that I have used over my whole life, my whole journey, to be and stay persistent. Because when life happens, I promise you, you're going to run. You're going to run. And you know when you run, you stop empowering your mind, you stop developing your skills, you stop listening to the right people, and you start hanging around with the wrong people in the wrong situations. That is when you know you're slipping. So I want to help you to persist. And I want to show you what I use myself to keep going. 5 simple steps, 5 simple questions I ask myself every single day to keep going. And these are written down where I can see it as well every single day. So if you want to keep going, if you want to be persistent, if you want to keep at it no matter what happens in your business, on your job, in your family, if you want to keep at it, this is what you need to do. Ask yourself every single day 5 simple questions. Question number 1, who? Who can help me get what I want to get? Who has the contacts that I need? Who has the skills that can do what I need to get done? Who knows the path? Because guys, ladies and gentlemen, I tell you something, there's no point in you trying to reinvent the wheel. You might as well follow a path that's already proven, unless if you choose to create your own path. So ask yourself every day, who can help you get where you want to be in life? What skills do you need to adopt? What attitudes you need to change? What are the right areas in your life that you need to perhaps keep going on or keep developing? What attitudes perhaps you need to learn? What books you need to read? What videos you need to listen to? What, ladies and gentlemen, if you ask what every single day, your mind then comes in line with your goals, because your mind starts thinking, where else do I need to develop? Where else do I need to persist on? Where else do I need to keep going? When do I need my goals achieved by? That's the big question, when. Because a goal without an end destination is but a dream. And dreams, some of them can become nightmares. So when do you need that goal achieved by? When do you need to get things done? When do you need to perhaps travel to that new country or start that new business or start that new job? You may be in a job you hate. When do you need to start something else? When? Why? That's the $1 million question. Why do you want what you want? You see, at 5 years of age, I knew why. I knew I didn't want to be broke, and I didn't want to be poor, and I wanted to be in a position to empower other people. Why? Why do you want what you want? Why do you want to live where you want to live? Why do you want that new business? Why? Why are you doing what you're doing? Why, ladies and gentlemen, why? When your why is big enough, the facts doesn't count. If you know your why. When I was on that dump and I was hustling through those bottles and through that rubbish, I knew my why. I knew my why. And so I kept going, I kept persevering, I kept pushing because I knew my why. How? How do you intend to get it done? Have you got a plan? I know my mentor always says to me, without a plan, you will fail. We know the saying, you fail to plan, you're planning to fail. How are you going to get it done? How are you going to organize your time around your life to make it happen? Some people think it will just happen by them just perhaps guessing or saying, they're going to do it next week, they're going to do it next month. You need to have a clear-cut how you're going to get it done. None of us started off driving a car by just getting in the car and just somehow the car just went off. You've got to know how you're going to do it. And so how over a period of time, how with the right people in your life, how. If you ask yourself those questions, ladies and gentlemen, every single day, which is what I did from 5 years of age, who can help me? What skills do I need? What do I need to do? When do I need to get it done? Why do I need it in the first place? And how do I intend to do it? If every single day those 5 questions become your friends, they become your guide, they become your driving force as to how you're going to get things done, I promise you, if I could come from 5 years of age, poor and broke, hustling on the public dump at 13 in Trinidad and Tobago, to building an international global coffee business today, being a successful property investor, and a global motivational speaker, if I could come from that to where I am today, you can do anything. All I'm going to say to you is keep going. Be persistent. There is no other choice you have if you want to win, if you want to be free. And I'm talking to you about this from experience. Ask yourself those questions. Don't give up on your dreams. Despite what's happening in your life, don't give up on your children. They can help you in the long run, as I'm doing with my mother now. Support your family. Support your husband if you have one. Support your life, your own life. Empower your mind. And read Think and Grow Rich for Women. It's an amazing book, and I thank Sharon Lecter so much for giving me this opportunity to share with you my journey, my life story, and what I've done to be persistent in my life. And I'm going to leave you with the words, again, of my husband. And he always says, if it is to be, it's up to me. Camilita Nuttall from CamilitaNuttall.com. Don't change your destiny. Just change your vision.